Welcome back to Iraqi Dinar News, your trusted source for real-time updates and fact-based financial insights. In today's explosive development, the landscape of global currency speculation has shifted dramatically. For years, holders of the Iraqi dinar, IQD, and Vietnamese dong, VND, have waited through uncertainty, misinformation, and slow-moving progress. That wait appears to be coming to an end. A senior U.S. Treasury official has delivered a major public statement, aired live on national television on June 13, 2025, that has reignited momentum across financial markets. This announcement isn't just speculation, it's a major milestone with real policy implications. What separates this statement from the usual speculation is its source and delivery. It came directly from a Treasury representative in a structured broadcast, not a rumor mill or anonymous post. The official confirmed that the United States is now engaged in coordinated efforts with nations including Iraq and Vietnam to adjust foreign exchange mechanisms. For long-term currency investors, this wasn't just a moment of validation. It was a long-anticipated turning point. In precise terms, the Treasury official referenced revaluation protocols now in motion under joint strategic review with our global partners and multilateral institutions. That's coded government language for, it's happening. While no fixed rate or exact timeline was revealed, the acknowledgement of these steps confirms that monetary groundwork is already underway. This type of policy language doesn't hit the airwaves casually. It reflects months, if not years, of backroom coordination finally surfacing in the public domain. Investor communities noticed the shift immediately. Within hours, forums lit up, dealers adjusted pricing, and financial circles began recalculating scenarios. Even longtime skeptics began reconsidering their positions. Why the sudden credibility? Because over the last 18 months, Iraq and Vietnam have methodically prepared for this. Iraq strengthened its fiscal structure, improved central bank oversight, and increased oil transactions settled in IQD. Vietnam modernized its banking infrastructure, inked significant trade agreements, and started reducing its dependency on the U.S. dollar. These strategic actions now serve as the foundation for a potential multi-phase currency revaluation. The institutions involved are not minor players. This includes the U.S. Treasury, known for its global monetary influence, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, which sets benchmarks and provides structural guidance to nations, the Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, and the State Bank of Vietnam, SPV. Each plays a pivotal role in aligning internal policy with international standards, and when these entities begin to synchronize public messaging, it indicates something far more deliberate than market chatter. Further evidence comes from a pattern of coordinated activity. In April 2025, a major American bank subtly hinted at foreign exchange recalibration during its earnings call. By May, an IMF memo surfaced detailing Iraq and Vietnam nearing final benchmarks for revaluation alignment. And in June, the Treasury made its statement on national TV. This 3-month sequence reflects a controlled, intentional rollout, exactly the type of scenario experienced investors have been waiting for. The implications are massive. For those holding physical IQD or VND, this moment could transform long-held investments into significant returns, if navigated wisely. Financial analysts are suggesting that a revaluation may begin with a phased float, potentially increasing IQD rates by 2x to 5x and VND by 1.5x to 3x, depending on trade balance compliance and ongoing cooperation with the IMF. While these aren't guaranteed numbers, they are grounded in what policy insiders are quietly preparing for. At present, we stand between the preparation and activation phases of a typical 3-stage reevaluation cycle. Banks are starting to test exchange protocols behind the scenes, dealers are adjusting their buyback frameworks, financial advisors are reevaluating portfolio strategies, and for retail holders, this is the time to get organized, not speculative. If you're holding physical currency, it's essential to start reviewing logistics. Is your currency verified and safely stored? Have you looked into exchange procedures? Do you understand the documentation requirements? These questions matter more now than ever, especially with momentum building by the day. And as is often the case with financial surges, bad actors emerge. Scammers and fraudsters are already taking advantage of rising interest. They dangle offers of VIP groups, secret exchange windows, or quick cash conversions, often in exchange for upfront fees or personal details. Don't fall for it. Legitimate banks do not operate this way. Real dealers are licensed, transparent, and do not initiate unsolicited communication. The moment someone promises access to a private deal, that's your cue to walk away. To protect yourself and ensure you're truly ready, begin with currency authentication. Use blacklight verification, inspect watermarks, and track serial numbers. These simple steps can safeguard you from counterfeit issues. Next, identify local and national banks that handle foreign currency. Some Tier 1 U.S. banks are already testing internal systems for future exchanges, although the public phase may come later. Gather essential paperwork now. Most banks will ask for a valid government-issued ID, proof of currency purchase, and potentially IRS reporting forms if your exchange exceeds $10,000, 0 cents. Preparation isn't about panic. It's about efficiency. Knowing your walk-away rate is equally important. That's the specific rate you'd be satisfied with during an exchange. Predefined, emotion-free, and practical. Now let's address the tax reality. Many new investors underestimate the impact of tax obligations on currency gains. If your investment appreciates significantly, those profits might be classified as capital gains and taxed accordingly at both federal and possibly state levels. The holding period will determine whether your gain is taxed under short-term or long-term capital gains rates. Be ready to report larger exchanges and consult a qualified tax professional familiar with currency investments. This isn't an area for generic advice. You need precision. The support behind this revaluation push goes beyond Iraq or Vietnam. The U.S. Treasury and IMF are aligning these efforts with broader macroeconomic strategies. Global tensions, inflation pressures, and shifts in trade policy are all driving factors. A stable IQD and VND not only benefit the originating countries, they help rebalance trade and reduce over-reliance on dominant reserve currencies. In Iraq's case, rising oil exports and its strategic ties to both the U.S. and China give it leverage to reset its monetary position. Vietnam's emergence as a major manufacturing center in Southeast Asia means its currency no longer reflects its true output. These factors are fueling demand for an adjustment. It's not about wishful thinking, it's about economic fundamentals finally catching up to monetary policy. One often overlooked catalyst is digital transformation. Vietnam is currently leading Southeast Asia in digital banking innovation, while Iraq is pushing hard to modernize payment networks and crack down on black market currency activity. These tech upgrades please institutions like the IMF, which prefer transparent, traceable systems. With these reforms in motion, it's only natural for national currencies to be reassessed and revalued to match growing transparency. Backing up this view are respected voices in the financial world. Currency expert Jim Rickards has recently pointed out that VND corrections are necessary and close. Economist Mohammed El-Arian described the expected liftoff as structured to prevent market panic, not a surprise event. And investor advocate Catherine Austin Fitz noted that this isn't theory anymore, it's playing out in carefully managed phases. These professionals don't jump on hype. Their recognition signals that the tide is shifting in the real economy. Let's take a quick example to illustrate how this might play out. Imagine someone invested $8,000, 0 cents, in IQD when the rate was still highly suppressed. With a 5x revaluation, their holdings could potentially become $40,000, 0 cents. At 10x, that rises to $80,000, 0 cents. And if someone's holdings total $10,000, 0 cents, the math becomes even more dramatic. But again, none of this is guaranteed. It's a matter of readiness and realism. This isn't a lottery ticket. It's a serious monetary move, possibly one of the biggest in decades. Your level of preparation could determine whether you come out ahead or get stuck in confusion, delays, or tax complications. That's why it's essential to treat this like a business decision, not a hype-drinking frenzy. Clear thinking will beat emotional reactions every time. If you're new to this or just discovering the scope of the revaluation movement, you're not too late. In fact, the timing may be perfect. Subscribe to Iraqi Dinar News to stay in the loop with real-world updates based on verified data and public announcements. No fluff, no guesswork. Just analysis that empowers you to act with confidence. Browse through our recent uploads to catch the full timeline, from IMF updates to central bank policies, and now the national TV statement that shook markets. To wrap this up, one truth stands above the rest. This is only the beginning. The Treasury's on-air confirmation has opened a new chapter. Whether you're a conservative holder or a larger investor with long-term strategy, now is the time to stay focused. The global currency framework is evolving quickly, and you happen to be holding assets at the center of the conversation. The question is no longer if, but how soon. Will it happen in one jump or through several gradual recalibrations? Either way, the shift is underway, and you've got a chance to move with it. This is not the moment for distraction. This is the moment for smart decisions, secure planning, and staying alert. Thank you for watching Iraqi Dinar News. If you found this update insightful, hit the like button, share it with your fellow investors, and be sure to turn on notifications. Comment below. Are you holding IQD, VND, or both? What's your plan when the rates adjust? Let's keep the conversation grounded and helpful for everyone. And stay tuned, our next video features an exclusive interview with an investor who transformed an $800 0 cents IQD purchase into $50,000 0 cents through timing and preparation. Until then, be cautious, stay informed, and be ready. The revaluation isn't speculation anymore. It's motion backed by policy and visible signals.